From the small and medium scale businesses, through the bank, to the stock exchange, and of course, to you vice there selling from the marketplace. This is Business This Week, reaching you from Independent Television, the Benin Network Center. I am Daniel Praise Osed Debame, and it's such a honor to have you join us on the program Business This Week. Well, this week we'll be extracting the importance of real estate business. And of course, we'll be looking at the challenges faced by developers in the country. And of course, most importantly, we'll be looking at the economic aspect of real estate as far as our nation economy is concerned. These are some of the things we'll be extracting this lovely Friday afternoon, but we'll quickly take a short break now. When we're back, we'll take you through the world of business and bring you up to speed to some of the stories that made headline. Welcome on board. Now, one of the papers we're going to be extracting this afternoon is Business This Week. Let's just see some of the stories on the front page of Business This Week newspaper. We'd like to just extract just one of it, and that will take us to other businesses. In front page of Business This Week, we have Nigeria's biggest pipeline records, zero crude loss in May. And of course, still on the front page of Business This Week, we have 10 jobs that can last, that can fast track your UK visa. You want to know 10 jobs that can help you fast track your UK visa? Just get a copy of This Day newspaper. And that takes us to the next story. Polaris Bank to meet customers. Of course, Polaris Bank to meet customers. And the next one is 25 startup to compete for $225 US. Yes, and lastly, on the front page of Business This Week, we have why Lekki tops destination for investment in apartment. And that takes us to some of the business roundup stories that we have. Let's give you the first story that we have here. The National Bureau of Statistics says, amidst the removal of subsidy on petrol, Nigeria's inflation rate rose to 22.41% in May 2023, up from 22.22% in April 2023. And this is according to the May inflation data contained in the latest Consumer Price Index. And the CPI report released on Thursday by the Bureau, the CPI measures the rate of change in prices of goods and services. And the report stated that the May 2023 inflation rate showed an increase of 0.19% point when compared to April 2023 headline inflation rate. Similarly, on a year-on-year basis, the headline inflation rate was 4.70% points. And according to the MBS, this report implies that in the month of May 2023, on the average, the general price level was 0.03% higher relative to April 2023. The report also disclosed that percent change in the average CPI for the 12-month period was 21.20%, showing 4.75 increase compared to 16.45% recorded in May. Then our last story that will be extracting this lovely afternoon, the Chief Executive Officer of Financial Derivative Companies Limited, Mr. Bismarck Ringwan, is optimistic that the remittances from Nigerians living abroad can rise to over $23 billion US. Ringwan, during an interview on Channels Television on the 2023 Democracy Day program, said diaspora Nigerians are coming back to seek the yield on their investments. And the economists also charged the federal government to work on building the confidence of the people, investors, consumers, as well as manufacturers. According to him, there's a trust deficit as nobody believes the government anymore. On the way forward, he wants leaders at all levels to sequence actions first before promises of what to do. They want to say that the Nigerian diaspora flow, which is currently about $23 billion US, can actually go as high as $50 billion US and can make up for the shortfall in the visible flaws because they are coming back to seek yield on their investments. Now, those are some of the stories that we have for your delight. We'll quickly take a short pause now, and that will take us to our major talking point, where we'll be x-raying the challenges and importance of real estate business. Don't go nowhere. Well, it's a good thing to know that you're still there, and it's your ultimate business program on television this week. Business This Week. First of all, I told you from the initials that we're going to be looking at the hiccups or the challenges that comes with real estate business. And from my immediate left, we have Jimmy Osemudiamen Osakare. He's the director, Lumcas Realtor now, and Property Limited real estate developer. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me into the program. Thank you.
And of course, from my extreme left is Erabo Osasere. He's conversant with this discussion, and of course, he has been part of the program for a while now. He's a business expert, and thank you so much for coming from us, Erabo.
It's always a pleasure.
Let's start with you, the real estate developer.
Yeah.
I would like us to educate the average Nigerian out there that doesn't really know what real estate is all about. Let's give an overview of what real estate is, that we can now dive into the discussion proper.
Okay, real estate, when you talk about real estate, you know that you're talking about land. So real estate encompasses land and all that you do on land. For example, the building, the farming inclusive, and all that encompass real estate. Now, when you come to the layman terms, when you talk about real estate, it's all about the ability for you to buy land. Real estate is a business, buy land, sell, develop, because of the current challenge you may think you want to solve. So real estate in general is all about dealing on land, the business of land. That's real estate.
So for you, it's dealing with land. So let's come to you, Rabo.
Well, real estate is very broad.
Yes.
It's actually into 5 categories.
Yeah.
We have the residential part of real estate. We have the industrial. We have the commercial. We also have the raw land, as he was talking about. Then we have the special cases. When we talk about the special cases, we're talking about government reserve lands that are used for schools, that are used for administrative purposes and all of that. So obviously, those aspects is off the grid of anybody just going and selling it or buying it, because it's specially reserved for those purposes. That's why it's called special real estate category. So it's a very broad aspect of the business. When we talk about real estate, it's not just the land. When we talk about the commercial, we're talking about any landed property that is used for business purpose. Take, for example, people can invest in land and build hospitals. People can invest in land and build a plaza. So all of these covers the commercial aspect of it. And also people flip buildings. Some buy just for business sake. They will buy the land and build and sell. Okay. We call that one flipping. So real estate business is very broad. It's deep within, you know, it encompasses a lot. So as we continue to talk about it, we'll get into more.
So Jimmy, if we've gotten this view or knowledge of what real estate is all about, does it have any challenges?
Yes, real estate, if you look at the macroeconomic issues that is confronting the global scene currently, you know that there's a lot of issues. But though when you narrow it down to Nigeria, the issues is not as you may want to shy away from, because I'm still bullish when it comes to the real estate industry. Looking at the trajectory projection of the growth of our nation in terms of population. So there's going to be massive demand when it comes to real estate business. Now, and also, when you look at the National Bureau of Statistics data that came out as at last year, they made us understand that real estate has future when it comes to this nation. Prior to this current dispensation, you discover that our major source of income was coming from the oil sector. But as at last year's data, we discovered that the real estate and the construction industry contributed over close to 95.6% to the GDP of Nigeria. The non-oil sector, while the construction and the real estate industry contributed over 20 trillion naira to the GDP. So that tells you that it's an industry that is growing, looking at the massive demand for infrastructure in the country. So that is it.
Okay, now, what is the importance of real estate to government, or how does it boost our economy? Because this is a business program, and of course, we want to know the economic value of real estate. So how does it boost economy of a nation, Pharmacist Rabo?
Well, the importance of real estate to the economy of any nation cannot be overemphasized. Let's take, for example, Nigeria alone. I think the real estate value increased with 8.9 trillion.
8.9 trillion.
As of last year, National Bureau of Statistics gave us those information. And it will surprise you to know that the real estate setup in Nigeria is growing with a kind of a fast rate, very quick. And I would say there's so much that is yet to be tapped from the real estate. And some of the challenges, like you ask, is that some of those developers, those investors who like to invest into especially residential category of real estate, the challenge they face is funding. You see, when you leave real estate alone to government, because Nigeria, as we speak, we're having a deficit of about 17 to 21 million housing deficit.
Okay.
So
all right, Pharmacist Rabo, I need to pause you there. We'll take a quick break now, and when we return, we'll continue with the discussion. Don't go nowhere. Well, if you're just joining us, this is Business This Week, reaching you on ITV, the Benin Network Center, and we're actually x-raying the problems associated with real estate business in the country. We've been discussing with Jimmy, a developer, and of course our pharmacist, Rabo. Together we've been looking at this discussion together. We're with you, Pharmacist Rabo, looking at the economic value of real estate.
Like I said, we have about 17 to 21 million housing deficit in Nigeria as a whole. That should give you an insight into the sector we are looking into. So there's still a lot to be tapped. A lot of money is still there to be made. If you look at the average Nigerian, we have challenges. One of them is housing. If you look into this estate that is very close to us here, you find that most of those federal housing estate and the state housing estate over there, they're in dilapidated shapes. Now, this is government.
That's because it belongs to the government?
Yeah. Now, the private setup have been doing so wonderfully well in this setup. Now, if they can get access to funding, it will help them to jar up the economy very much. Okay. Now, how does it impact into the economy? Look at it. When you are constructing a building, minimum about 25 persons will be employed. Now, when you are constructing industrial, when you are getting into industrial construction, remember, you employ more people. Minimum 50 to 100 persons.
Create employment.
Yes, are employed. Now, look at the chain of employment that real estate can bring. So, like some few years ago, I saw a good deal in real estate, and I wanted to venture into it. So I actually registered with this Federal Mortgage Fund scheme. I did it with them. Eventually, the fund was not given to me. So those are some of the challenges as an entrepreneur we face. So as the government can come in, they can make it easy for investors to have access to funding.
Okay.
And they can help the government provide housing to the people.
Let's come back to Jimmy now. How do we now revamp real estate? How do we now revamp it in the country? How do we revamp it?
Okay, first, I want to, the first education, proper education is very important, because a lot of persons still don't understand the importance of real estate to our economy. and also the importance of real estate themselves as an individual. Like my colleague had rightly said, the deficiency that we have currently on housing is alarming. So that shows to you that it's going to be an explosive industry in the nearest future. Now, how do we now revamp? Now, for the government, we need government support, actually. We need the government support to come into helping create a structure for the industry, because for a while now, the private sector have really been doing well. If you go to Lagos, you go to Abuja, Kano, and all, like those states is gradually waking up to the awareness of that right now. So the government is also there, and also private investors too. They can also come into put in some effort into enabling that sector to grow. So I think with those little things, we can really get to a little great height when it comes to the industry.
Okay, so now, if it's revamped, how can people now invest into real estate business?
Okay, talking of investing into real estate, well, for an individual, you need to have a ton of money. You need to have good money to invest in real estate.
So you must have money.
You must have money because there's a lot of scam everywhere now. I used to hear on radio, sometimes on TV, they will tell you bring 1,000. It baffles me. I begin to wonder, real estate, you want to invest in real estate with 1,000?
But it's real now. There are people who contribute little money, before you know it, accumulating to huge sum.
Well, if the scheme is trustworthy, over time it could yield something.
So how can they now
So
invest?
from my own perspective, what I feel, I still strongly hold on to it, is that they are private entrepreneurs who have this beautiful idea. They know what they want to do. Let government make access to funding easier. Now, when we talk about pooling resources together, like those schemes those guys are trying to do, is a laudable idea. But for the average man who is contributing 1,000 every day, I don't know how they actually structure it. I see it may become so discouraging because it's going to take a long time for you to eventually, because 1,000 times 365 days, if really such a person is faithful to such scheme,
you can meet up.
You know how much that will be.
So are you with it or you are against it?
No.
Because we'll be taking Jimmy's reaction. From your facial expression, it seems you have something different to say, but we are still with you.
I wouldn't say I'm against it, because I cannot say what is really their full plan, because they know best what they intend to do.
Okay.
But for me, I will always go with the idea that as an individual, you want to invest into real estate. If there's a way you can access funding, it will go a long way to help. It's a kind of a soft landing to access funding.
So you need money.
Yes.
Plenty of money.
You need good money.
And many money.
You need good money.
If there's any word like that. So as a developer, how do you think people can come into this business?
Really, when the government...
But you're in line with what he said?
I would say I'm against.
Do you want to deviate a little?
Yes, a little.
Okay.
So when the government resources is not readily available, what are we going to do? And there's massive increase in population. Housing problem is being created, and is being created as the case may be. So individuals are creating opportunities for those who have the passion, because in this part of the world, or in Nigeria, owning a land is like, it's something that gives you pride, or owning a house gives you pride. So if a company comes up with the idea of subsidizing the ability for you to purchase property, I think it's not a problem. So one way is that you can come in through a subsidized means from the company by instrumental method of payment, and also people who have the vision of coming into or owning property, they can also come in through maybe that instrumental payment too.
So you believe in instrumental payment?
I believe.
So it could be 100,000, 1,000,
as long as
500.
As long as the company has structured out a system that will help achieve that goal. I overheard of a company that pays that system 1,000 naira. I think if you look at their land, maybe the land is 325,000 naira for 50 by 100, for example, with the measurement in Edo State. So if 1,000 naira in 365 days, we give you 365,000 naira.
So you need a long-term
plan. So for the average income earner, for the low income earner, a man who is a woman that is selling tomato, you won't be expecting her to go into real estate or purchase land that's worth 2 million naira. So you will help. So that's a vision to helping if the government fund is not there, or those who are interested in investing into the industry.
Okay, we'd like to take reactions, right? We'd like you to drop your reactions, or perhaps you just call the studio line that will be displayed on your screen right now. So you can just maybe ask a question, or if you have a contribution to the talking point. Issues affecting real estate business in Nigeria is what we are looking at this lovely Friday afternoon. So the number will be displayed right now on your screen. You can put a call through. Let's get your feel, or let's get what you have to say. But let's come to you. The phone is already ringing. I've been saying it, but we'll take the call in a jiffy. We've had issues that has to do with Omonile. I don't know what they call them here in Benin. In the north, they have what they call them. You know, once you get a land, before you know, some other persons will just come and tell you, no, before you build this land, you are giving us our own shares. You know, communities will come. And how do we end this unending dilemma that is affecting real estate business? You buy land, genuine land, you have your papers, and somebody is telling you can't start building. If you don't settle the community, if you don't settle the people in the community. So how do we balance that, Rabo?
In Edo State, that has been a major problem in the past, though we still have some hiccups, but it's not like the way it was before. It was really a battle. Then whereby people will sell one land almost 7 times or 10 times to different persons, just one single land. Well, that challenge has been dealt with to a reasonable extent, but we still have some hiccups along the line in that aspect. So to be able to tackle this, the real estate developers, those companies, they are doing a great job. I know of some, a lot of them in Benin, who acquire a large expanse of land and develop. Obviously, when you purchase lands from those individuals, from those companies, most of the time you don't have issues with these community people because they've all been settled. So I don't dispute the fact that real estate companies, they are so important to this vision, to be able to take real estate to the next level in Nigeria. Very important.
So it doesn't happen again? Are you saying it doesn't happen again?
It does, but not with that rate it was before. It has really come down. It has really come down. So the real estate company are really making even purchasing of land much easier right now.
You're actually pointing at Jimmy right now. It's like you're talking to him directly.
Well, it's a good thing they are doing.
Okay.
It's a good thing.
So how are you tackling, let's just get your own feel, how are you tackling the issue of land grabbing, having persons coming to tell you you cannot erect your business or your building, or you can't start your project without settling some persons?
Okay, as an estate developer or as a company, one of the things we do is that major concern is to make sure that things of those kind that scares people away from real estate investment are taken away. For example, if we are coming into a community, our aim and our objective is to develop that community.
Okay.
So it means that the community itself that is granting us access into their environment should also be on the same page with us, that they want developers. So that includes the head of the community, the head of the youth, the head of the women, and all. So they are in synergy.
So you settle them in advance?
So they are all in agreement, meaning they need these individuals to come into their environment to develop. So if we are now going to discuss business with them, all those Omonile, Yemolu, Okagili settlement, all those things come into play. Because if you distract our clients, it's going to affect the purpose of what you want us to come do there. So we make sure that in our memorandum of understanding between the company and the community, it is well settled, so that anybody that comes through the company has no problem.
Okay, like I said, you can be part of this conversation. 080-377-70300. That's the number to call. Let's quickly see who's on the line and get your reaction. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Afternoon.
All right, tell us your name and where you calling from.
Okay, I'm White. I'm calling from Abuja.
From Abuja.
Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Go ahead and talk to us, White.
Hello?
We are with you, we can hear you.
Okay, I want to know how the payment aspect, how is it now? Hello?
We can hear you.
I said the payment aspect, like for example, someone that doesn't have a complete payment, and how is the payment like?
Okay. Okay. How do you go about paying when you don't have a complete money to get a piece of land?
I think that that was what was being taken care of by my colleague when he was talking about the 1,000 naira. So that aside, not all companies give out those kind of scheme. So like some other companies may have payment plan on monthly basis, as in it's based on duration time.
Okay.
While some is based on the amount. So it depends on the company you are patronizing. Some will say, okay, based on the amount to time. So the time is proportional to the amount. So if you spread 1,000 for a period, you'll be able to, for the low income. But some will say, okay, it is to your own discretion. Let's make it 6 months, 1 year. But within that period of time, you should be able to clear it out. So
Now,
it
I would like
depends
us
on the
to
company.
talk about how some of these developers scam people. They'll just come, show you a land that is not existing, and collect money, and they just go into the thin air. But let's quickly see. Okay, we lost that call there. 080-377-70300. Still the number to call so I can be part of the conversation. I wanted to take 1 or 2 calls, and I'll come back to the studio. Hello, good afternoon. Please make sure you're not flashing us at this time. All right. If you're actually enjoying the show, just stay back at home and enjoy the show. But please ensure you're not flashing us at this moment. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Tell us your name and your location.
My name is Mike, calling from Adwawa.
Okay, Mike, go ahead and talk to us. We're listening.
Okay. You see, concerning this land issue, government should do very, very important thing concerning it is that if those youths that is disturbing, that are not working, at least when somebody buy land, because the problem we are having in that area is that they will sell one land for like 3 people or 4 people. Before you know it, they will be dragging. Along the dragging now, before you know it, and now take the person to another inside the bush. So that's what those is very bad. If government can do something very tangible, at least we like it.
Okay, we've actually trashed that earlier, but we wanted to say something.
Yes, I think the current governor has really done a lot when it comes to trying to put sanity into real estate in those states. You talk about the office you can visit when there's an issue of land grabbing.
Yeah.
I think it's a big offense in those states. Now, if you are buying from a community or maybe from one Kaile or chairman, I think things of such can happen. But you have an appropriate office you can report to. But for real estate company, what they do in our company, what we do to sanitize those things, we do what, you see, the land, if we are getting a vast land, those land are numbered, meaning there's a layout design, there's a survey for each land, and each land is numbered. And whoever is buying, the issue of land grabbing or reselling of land does not happen there because it is tied to your name. If it's plot 10, Mr. Sawaru
So it's
joined.
properly
Properly documented.
Okay.
That's where documentation
Let's
comes
take this call, then we'll come to pharmacist Erabo. Let's look at issue of scam. Hello, good afternoon. Yes, tell us your name and where you're calling from. Are you there? All right, simple. Go ahead and talk to us.
Okay, sir. I know my talk is different with which people is talking, but the only thing they bother me because of the way that government put the school for the student now. So we always see in a thing of the corruption. The children we could take out now, waiting, we go Monday, we go on Monday, maybe on Wednesday, they go Congo. The children, where their mother they get money.
Well, I think this person is talking from the other side of the divide. Let's come to you now, Pharmacist Rabo. How do we now handle scammers?
First of all, I want to talk about the real estate developers, those companies.
Talk about
A friend of
feel
mine,
free, talk about
a
them.
friend of mine actually had issue with one of them. They allocated a portion, a parcel of land to him in their real estate, and he started making payments. Along the line, they sold that land and moved him inside. So this is sad to say. but
Originally, that was not the location they showed him.
not at all.
They
It's
changed
sad to
it.
say, but it's something we should not be seeing with companies. If there's any company who is doing that as they're listening to us now, they should stop that. Because you're eventually going to dash the hope of these people away. They put a lot of trust in you. They expect to get what they are paying for. And not when a bigger bidder comes, you now sell it and relocate the person inside. That would be bad. Then on the scam aspect of it, those who intend to engage in this scheme of this 1,000, they should do their due diligence. They should do thorough research about the real estate company they are doing such with. You understand? They should be sure that these people are well registered, they are legit.
Before they commit their money.
Exactly, because we are looking at a very long period of time. If for example, see why a scam can easily come up. If you have about 5,000 persons paying 1,000 every month, I don't know how they do it, if it's every day or every month. Do you know how much is that? That is mind-boggling. What will prevent such a person eloping with such millions of naira, if not even billions?
Without trace.
I don't know if you get my point. So for anyone who wants to do that, he should do his own research.
Okay. So
to be sure.
a lot of research before putting your money in. Hello, good afternoon.
I think,
Who's on the line? Yeah, we can hear you.
my name is Jeremiah.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Obaka.
All right, talk to us, Jeremiah.
I wrote here, bad. I wrote it bad.
Okay. Let's come back now to you, Jimmy. How do we now get ourselves out of registration, non-registration? We've seen situations where people get land and at the end of the day, government revoke it back from them. All right, and they don't just have anything to do again, no kind of compensation. So how do we now advise people? You actually talked about the state government having an established agency where you can duly register your land. So let's talk about registration as we begin to wrap up now.
Okay, now you're talking about, I think it's dichotomy there. So now when you talk about the issue of government revoking the certificate of occupancy from individuals. Now, I think those situations will happen if the investor is careless about his investigation. Now, before investing into land, because naturally from the Land Use Act, government is the sole owner of the land. So, but you must do your due diligence to know if there are areas within the geographical location where government have interest. That's why I do GIS is there. You go and do your search. So when you've done proper search, over there they will tell you this area is government, government has interest here. This is urban reserve. So if you encroach into those environments, the government have right to revoke or to put an impediment to whatever is going on there. So because it's like grabbing from the government reserve. So that's another issue. So what I think people could do to help them bypass those situations is for proper search. I think that's what real estate industry or companies do. Like in our company, we do what is search. We do it very well. We do what is government search, security search. Before you can go and invest your money in an environment, you should search if that place is secure enough, because people are coming there. You wouldn't want to go to a place where these herdsmen are and you expose people to danger, or you send people to a location where government has already marked it out but has not verbally announced that we have interest in that location. Edogis will tell you that this area shouldn't go there, but if you go there, anything can happen.
Quickly, Pharmacist Rabo, can inflation and high cost of living discourage people from venturing into real estate business?
Sure, of course. You see, they said an hungry man is an angry man. The stomach is usually the first thing. If you have not been able to settle here, you can't be thinking of
shelter
real
over
estate.
your head.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
So inflation is already cutting deep into the economy and is also affecting real estate. Take, for example, now, to get a granite, with this increment, I don't know, I think the last time I heard the price was about 180, the full truck or so. What about the sand? What about cement? The cost of these items are skyrocketing every day. So sometimes I begin to wonder, can a poor man build,
an average
have his own house, have his own home? Because the divide between the poor and the rich is becoming very alarming. The wide is getting bigger, the gap is getting bigger. The margin is getting bigger. So that is why I said I still take my stand. The government has a lot to do.
Okay.
I know those state government is doing something in this regard. I saw some of those projects they are doing, but does it really get to the common man?
Okay.
That is the challenge.
Jimmy, there's this assertion, or people have been saying it, that they have developers who don't really have their personal money, but they'll just collect money from prospective interested clients. They will now be banking on that money to develop, to go into the business, but the individuals don't really have their money. So how do we have such existing
I wouldn't say,
in the real estate
I wouldn't
world?
say it is happening.
Okay.
But you cannot eliminate such situation. But before a real estate company can be permitted to make an announcement of a community, you know you must have done something.
Okay.
So the community wouldn't just...
You must have a stake.
Thank you. You should have done something physical, not just mouth expression that I'm going to do this. So because the community, they need money to do something. So I think if there's a percentage of such, it will be very miniature compared to the reality. Okay. So you must have money, like what my colleague said. It's capital intensive to come into the real estate industry. So it's not child's play.
All right, I'm afraid this is how far we can go. Thank you so much, Jimmy Nosakare, and of course, Pharmacist Rabo Osasere. Thank you so much for taking time to join us, gentlemen. By the way, after the show, I'm going to take these seats.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, this is where we'll be drawing the curtain for today's edition, Business This Week. I am Daniel Praise Osedebame. Do have yourself a blessed weekend ahead. Bye for now.